The restriction on the number of hours you can work during an academic semester is only applied to international students who are working off campus. This rule does not apply to persons who are working on campus. Now, I have went ahead and created an entire book where I talk all things about different ways that you can finance your studies in Canada, and I've put together 50 different ways that you can cover your tuition in Canada, and I have created an entire ebook compiling my entire knowledge of all the ways that you can put together your tuition. This includes full scholarships, include partial scholarships, it includes loans, it includes all different types of financial ways that you can cover your tuition instead of just working for your tuition. So if that interests you, I'll definitely leave that in the description box below so that you can see it. Today I will be talking about the new rules for international students in Canada. Now in Canada, what has happened is that international students were able to work for 40 hours per week. However, recently the rules has changed where now international students can now work during the academic semester for 24 hours. Now, what I've realized is that there have been a lot of international students saying that they won't be able to afford their tuition due to the recent change in the rules around working. Previously, the rule was actually you being able to work for 20 hours. Now, the 40-hour rule was actually a rule that was just provided temporarily to fill a labor gap. And I think there are a lot of international students that did not understand this, and that is what I'm now realizing. That there were international students who thought that the 40-hour was just the new rule and that's just how things work. However, that is not the case. The 40-hour work week just came about because of labor shortages, and due to that labor shortage, they changed the hour rule where they allowed international students to work for 40 hours. However, now what they're doing is that they will be changing the rule to 24 hours. Now, persons have been saying that they won't be able to pay their tuition, they won't be able to pay their living expenses and things like that. And there's a lot to say about that. First of all, you would have at least the first year of your tuition already in Canada even before you came here. So that is saying that at least for the first year, everything would be covered. Now, if we're talking about beyond the first year, then I understand that maybe some persons decided that they would like to work. Now, something you need to remember is that the restriction on the number of hours you can work during an academic semester is only applied to international students who are working off campus. This rule does not apply to persons who are working on campus, only for students who are working off campus. So that is the first thing that you really need to understand. There are a lot of students who really believe that the rule is there for every type of work, and it's not just students, but there will be persons who will be telling you that you can only work for 20 hours. But quite frankly, the only person you should be listening to is an immigration expert. If this person is not an immigration expert, you should not be listening to them about any type of immigration rules, because quite frankly there has been many people who have been talking about things and saying things that really isn't true. Now, there's also another one where people keep talking about the summer and saying that during the summer break you can only work for 40 hours. Now, during the summer break, there's absolutely no restriction on the number of hours that you can work. So what this means is that you can work unlimited hours during the summer semester. You can also work unlimited hours during any scheduled break that is provided during your academic studies. What this is saying is that you are free to work as many hours as you would like during these times. Now, what you need to understand as well is that if you want to work for 40 hours during an academic semester, that is not impossible, but basically your entire life will be surrounded around work and work only and doing school. I was an international student before, and I was working for 30 hours during the academic semester. And how I've been able to do that is that I was working 20 hours off campus and I was working 10 hours on campus. Now that is 100% legal and it is allowed in the immigration rules. Now, in terms of being able to manage my time, I am very good with time management, so I didn't see it as any issue. However, my life was just school, work, and that's it. I did not have time for anything else because that is all I could do, because that's literally the amount of time that I have. And also for me as well, I was doing full course loads as well, and sometimes I was doing a course overload to finish school quickly. So I was doing a 4-year degree, but I actually completed my degree in 3 years and 4 months. So I didn't do the full 4 years of university because I did course overloads to eliminate that time frame. So I 100% understand the take of international students and wanting to work and things like that. Especially if you're a mature student, I do not see where you would want to only do school because you are already accustomed to working. So if you're accustomed to working, it's just in your nature where you will want to go and work while you're in school, which is totally fine. Like, everyone wants to make a little money on top of whatever they already have. Now, I have went ahead and created an entire book where I talk all things about different ways that you can finance your studies in Canada, and I've put together 50 different ways that you can cover your tuition in Canada, and I have created an entire ebook compiling my entire knowledge of all the ways that you can put together your tuition. This includes full scholarships, include partial scholarships, it includes loans, it includes all different types of financial ways that you can cover your tuition instead of just working for your tuition. So if that interests you, I'll definitely leave that in the description box below so that you can see it. And if that is something that will be helpful to you, then you can definitely make a purchase. Now, as it relates to doing school for 40 hours as an international student, doing school and working is going to be a lot, and I actually wouldn't recommend that you do more than 20 hours during school anyways. If you want to have a balanced and rounded life where you're also eating healthy, you're exercising, you have time for rest, you have time for these things, I do not recommend that you're doing a lot of hours. But I understand that if you get a 40-hour limit, you have workarounds, and I understand as well that when you have workarounds, things that you can do is to really think about it and be like, okay, for this week I don't have that much schoolwork to do, I don't have many assignments, I want to stay over and do 10 additional hours. And those hours really adds up, and that money does adds up. So I definitely understand where you're coming from, but something you have to understand as well is that, quite frankly, just trying to chase and trying to hurry to do everything, and you want to get this done and get this done, and you're skipping the most important things in your life, it's not something that is fulfilling at the end. And instead, what you have to do is to be going backwards, or you end up not ever going backwards, and you just continue this life of just being stressed, being overwhelmed, and that's just life for you. But if you want a life that is rounded and you come to Canada as an individual who wants a better life for yourself, the grinding is important, but you can reduce it. And I am telling you that even in another video, I literally said I would recommend that you borrow a loan. I'm not saying that as someone who wants you to be buried in debt, but I'm literally saying that to you because that can be very, very helpful for you. Because if you're borrowing a loan, it reduces the stress that is on you to have to work to make money to go to school. And that is also something that I have in my ebook, where I've made a list of some institutions that have said yes to me, that yes, they would provide me with a loan if I wanted it. because for me personally, I believe that I need to have multiple options where I'm not relying on only one financial resource, but I have multiple financial resources. So what I decided is that I wanted to get a good understanding of all the financial resources that are out there, and I wanted people to say yes to me so that I know that this is somewhere I can go in the event that one of my financial options has gone down the drain. This is why I definitely recommend that ebook that I created, because it will be very, very helpful to just take off that working and financial burden off of you. Remember to also take a look at the ebook that I am providing. Definitely check out that ebook if it's something that would be helpful for you. And I believe if you're looking for a way to cover your finances in Canada, this book will be very helpful for you. Definitely take a look at it. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video.